This episode was recorded live at the W Hotel in Hollywood as part of the first ever Netflix is a Joke comedy festival, which we were so excited to be included in. Our guest today is Mae Martin, a Canadian-born stand-up comic living in the UK. They are the creator and star of the show Feel Good on Netflix, and they're here with us today at Netflix is a Joke comedy festival to discuss the cult of stand-up comedy. But first, a very brief word from our much appreciated sponsors. This podcast is sponsored by Grove Collaborative. I personally love Grove Collaborative because they make ordering cleaning supplies super easy and genuinely environmentally friendly.
Go to grove.com/cult to get a free gift set worth up to $50 with your first order. Plus, shipping is fast and free. That's grove.com/cult.
Calm is the #1 mental wellness app, and that makes sense. It has been helping me fall asleep the last 2 weeks.
Right now, they're offering listeners 40% off a Calm premium subscription at calm.com/cult. That's calm.com/cult for 40% off unlimited access to Calm's entire library.
I love Athletic Greens. It helps me stay healthy, and not only do I love it, but my dad is obsessed with it.
Oh my God, your dad, nutrient king. Athletic Greens is giving you a free 1-year supply of immune-supporting vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase.
All you have to do is visit athleticgreens.com/cult. That's athleticgreens.com/cult. This is Sounds Like a Cult, a show about the modern day cults we all follow.
I'm Amanda Montell, author of the book Cultish, The Language of Fanaticism.
And I'm Isa Medina, a comedian.
Every week on our show, we discuss a different fanatical fringe group from the cultural zeitgeist, from Trader Joe's to Instagram therapists, to try and answer the big question,
this group sounds like a cult, but is it really? Oh, to join our cult, follow us on Instagram at Sounds Like a Cult Pod. I'm on IG at Isa Medina.
And I'm over there on Instagram at Amanda_Montell. And feel free to hit us up on Patreon at patreon.com/soundslikeacult, where our episodes are available ad-free.
And check us out on YouTube, where you can watch our show. Today, we're filming live at the Netflix is a Joke comedy festival with a very special guest, Mae Martin.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
Sorry that you were sitting there awkwardly while we did our intro.
No, it was charming how embarrassed you were about having to
I
do
am
intro.
so embarrassed.
We've never said our intro in front of a third party before.
Yeah, it felt voyeuristically weird. Like,
Yes, here we have our comedy cult leader
Yeah.
here to talk to us about the cult of stand-up comedy.
Yeah, you're a stand-up comedian.
yes. Yeah.
Do you want to tell our listeners a little bit about yourself?
Oh, I'm just trying to get by in this world. I'm a comedian and writer and actor, I guess.
Cool.
Yeah. Wish I was a musician.
Oh, yeah, I just saw Haim on Sunday.
Oh,
Oh,
come
my
on.
God. Are you
Insane.
kidding?
Are you joking?
When they hit the drums, I was like, I'm
Yeah.
having a panic attack.
How are they so effortlessly cool? The way they use their bodies, but they don't do much with their bodies. But you're just like, oh, your
They do a
body.
lot with
Yeah.
their faces.
They do a lot with their faces.
Yeah. And like they even did like a little bit in the middle of the show. Like they were
Oh.
all so funny. I was like,
I know.
enough.
And then licorice pizza. Like, there's nothing
Yeah.
they can't do.
Yeah.
I might be biased, but I want to think that if you would approach Haim and say, I'd like to join your band, they'd probably say yes.
You think they'd welcome me in?
I think
Oh,
so.
for sure.
I would stand out like such a sore thumb.
You could be like a stagehand.
Yeah, just this.
in all
You're
black.
wearing the perfect outfit as
Yeah,
a first
dressed in
stagehand.
black. Just this gangly.
Yeah. First, I wanted to say, like, I've been wanting to do this episode for so long because I didn't really know much about cults until Amanda came into my life. And then every week we've been doing like a different subject. And then every week I noticed, I was like, oh my God,
Yeah.
stand-up comedy is a cult.
It ticks the boxes, right?
Yeah, exactly. What do you think is like so culty about stand-up comedy?
The interesting thing is it has revolving cult leaders, but it's got its own sort of lingo and language to it. I mean, for me, I found it in my teens, and it completely took over my life and took me away from my family in like an alarming way, where I went off the grid and disappeared into the clubs. So that's cult-like in a way.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
What does it mean to you, you think? Like, do you think it's still like a big part of your life as your career grows?
I mean, I obviously love comedy so deeply. It's
Yeah.
maybe the only thing I love in
Yeah.
my life, which is so bleak. But I don't love like stand-up comedy culture. I mean, it depends. If you're just doing shows with your friends, it's the best in the world, that feeling. But whenever I've done like the club circuit and stuff, I don't love that world. It can be a very like threatening place, and then I never want to be too negative about it because it's like it's like family. Like I'm passionate about it too, but it's so blatantly obvious how uncool it can be. You know?
That's right. I started doing stand-up like almost 4 years ago, and I started in LA, which is kind of the worst place to start.
Yeah.
I did it because I was obsessed with comedians and I had no friends, and I was like, how do I make friends? And like the best way to make friends is to like go to live events.
Yeah.
And
I think that's a main motivator for why people join cults of all stripes is literally to make friends.
Yes,
yeah.
100%. Yeah. And it's these people welcoming you with open arms, and if you're not feeling that in the rest of your life. Yeah, exactly.
And it was like, I just was like, okay, this is how I'm going to make friends. And I fell into this community. And now whenever people ask me like, oh, how do you know so-and-so or how do you know so-and-so? I'm like, through comedy. And I feel a little embarrassed about it because I'm like, do I have any other hobbies? I don't know.
Podcasting.
Which is even more embarrassing.
Yeah. Right. Just to call yourself a podcaster.
Yeah, so true.
I sort of have imposter syndrome with saying I'm a comedian. I've been doing it for 20 plus years.
You still feel that way?
Yeah. I mean, here at this festival specifically, like
really,
but maybe that's because
you have a show on Netflix.
Thank you.
An amazing show.
I think it's because I live in the UK and I grew up in Canada. I've been in London for 12 years, so I definitely feel like an outsider in terms of the American comedy circuit, and it feels intimidating sometimes, and it's so politicized right now. And I'm like, am I gonna? I don't know.
Yeah.
But I think that's partly why I moved to England was. The scene there is really theatrical. Like people are doing hour-long fringe shows every summer, so it's a little less kind of.
Yeah, it's more like variety shows.
Like I still go and see comedy on my nights off, which is so wild. Like still, because I do love it, but when it feels cult-like is when someone is on stage who is like objectively not being funny, like objectively, but they're speaking in the pattern of a stand-up comedian. Yeah, and the comedians at the back are cackling because they want to be audibly supporting this dude on stage to be like, we get it, and it's like that's when it feels cult-like. Like, hang on, where was the joke there? Or like,
I'm desperate to comment on this because whenever I go to a stand-up show, I a bit feel like an outsider at a cult meeting. When I was in middle school, I used to, out of anthropological fascination, accompany my best friend to the evangelical megachurch where she and her mother were members, and I used to marvel at the followers as they would raise their hands in worship and chant and recite these mantras, clearly filled with a Holy Spirit that just was not touching me.
Yes.
And sometimes when I'm at a stand-up show, I feel the same thing. Everybody is just in this shared delusion, cackling with laughter at a joke that just has not filled me with the Holy Spirit. And I feel like, am I supposed to fake the laughter to demonstrate my worship of this figure who's kind of filling a cult leader role? Because faking laughter to me feels not unlike faking an orgasm. It's like this visceral bodily thing. And if I fake it, that'll give you feedback you shouldn't have. And
exactly. It should be an involuntary physical response. Yeah. When you join in, when you go, all right, I'm just going to try it and see what it feels like to fake laugh at this and get wrapped. And then you do feel like I'm part of it.
Yeah.
I do get it. And and you feel that sense of community.
Does fake laughter like hurt your soul? Because I feel like it's starting to hurt my soul.
Yeah, a little bit.
Like doing it.
If it's a friend that on stage who's really
you're like
dying.
Yeah,
my mom is not a comedy fan. Well, I guess her introduction to it was me as a teenager going off into these clubs and hanging out with adults, and so she has never gotten into it. But she's like, she puts her head in her hands and she's like, the language is so violent. It's I crushed, I killed.
Yeah,
I bombed. Or have you got that on the agenda? Yeah. It's interesting.
Insane language. My parents, I'm originally from Colombia, so
you are?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, cool.
Moved to America when I was 7, so my parents are like very much like immigrant vibes.
Yeah.
I always add the word vibes because I like don't feel like I look like an immigrant, but
right, just immigrant vibes.
Yeah, and my parents do not get a single joke. Like they watch Saturday Night Live every week, and they're like, "What? Why was
they're
that?"
still waiting. Maybe we should talk a little bit about your joining the cult of comedy, like because you were so young when you started. Like, what was that experience like? How did you get inducted, so to speak?
I started doing improv classes at this place, the Second City in Toronto, and then just started. I don't know why my parents gave me such a long leash and like no curfew, but I would then like hang out around the clubs and go and see.
How old were you?
Shows 13.
That's insane.
I know.
Especially because like it's not like you were going to like study, like you were going to a comedy club.
Yeah. I know. I think because really early on, I don't know. I guess it was like right before you learn to be ashamed of who you are. Like I just got in, before puberty like destroyed me. So I was weirdly confident, and I would just be like, "Oh, can I do a set or whatever?" And then I think because of the novelty of it, people let me, and then that was so addictive. And then also at school, being different is humiliating, and then in a club you can say it on stage and then be rewarded for it. So it was like a physical high.
Well, it sounds addictive. It's not, because being able to incite laughter in another human feels like a magic trick.
Yeah,
it is. I feel like you do get addicted to it, but then when you like don't do it for a while, then you're like, oh, maybe this is fine. But then it's a muscle, and then when you do it again, you're like, oh fuck, why did I stop? I need to do this every day.
Well, I was just watching that Comedy Store docuseries that you recommended to me, and I heard the Comedy Store, one of the sort of epicenters of the cult of comedy, because there are cults within cults, described as a fraternity. I heard it described as an abusive lover where it like hurts so much, but then you go back and you're like, oh man, I know why I'm in love.
It's like you just need one good set to reel you back in.
But that's interesting, the cults within the cults. And I think that's what it's taken me so, decades to stop wanting the approval of the cults within the cult and be like, I love comedy. I love some of the people. I love the reaction and saying stuff. But it's things like, Yuck Yucks in Canada as a chain, or like SNL, you hear people be like, it's miserable. Like people are like, it was hell. Like we didn't sleep, we didn't eat.
I feel like the biggest cult of them all is, a Netflix special.
Yeah.
It's like the version of like, for a comedian, it's like enlightenment. It's like the highest tier.
Yeah, I can hear this sound in my head of like,
yeah. As like a smaller comedian who I am still struggling with calling myself a comedian.
Right.
It's like when you tell people you do stand up, they're like, oh, like where do you do comedy? Like can't wait to see your Netflix special. And you're just like, oh God, I don't know.
Or even as a kid, well, maybe not in Colombia as much, but like, it was all my parents' friends being like, when are you going to get on SNL? And
all cults have hierarchies that are sort of unspoken.
Yes.
And you don't really know what you're signing up for when you get in.
Yes.
And I feel like there's some of that in comedy where you think, oh, okay, there's a trajectory that I can follow.
Yeah.
But then you arrive at each level of that hierarchy and you realize, oh, there's more. And there are dues that you have to pay.
What do you think like the tiers are before you get to that like level of enlightenment? I feel like the smallest tier is like open mic comedy.
And then maybe doing a middle spot.
What's a middle
What does
spot?
that mean?
Like on a bill, if there'd be an opener and a middle spot and a headliner.
Oh, you don't think an opener would be like the next?
I don't think so.
Oh.
Well, but this is the thing. I'm not in tune with like the American tiers. So doing a late night set, that's just not a skill that I have. Like
a tight five.
Yeah, a tight five on like Jimmy Fallon or something. Like that's so impressive to me, and I love it when people do it well. It's incredible. I just don't have that.
It is very culty because a tight five, you literally work for like years to get your tight five.
We should explain what a tight five is. This is some of the terminology that I've had to learn knowing Issa. Like I have learned so much about this cult, which as an outsider, I observe and I'm like, you are at stand-up shows and open mics every single night. It's like you're in recovery. It's like you're going to AA meetings.
Yeah.
I'm amazed by how time-consuming it is. I'm amazed by how all-consuming it is.
Yeah.
What is a tight five?
It's like a polished 5-minute set that can work anywhere basically, and you spend a long time developing your first 5 minutes, and then but it is different in other countries, but it is similar. That's a good comparison, the like AA meetings, because like if you go to an AA meeting in Australia, you walk in and you feel like you're in a really familiar environment, and I think green rooms are like that. They're all the same everywhere in the world. I did a show in Serbia, and it was so surreal, and I feel like a clerical error of some kind. They'd flown me there.
And you were just like, yep, see you there.
I was like,
like the same way you showed up at our podcast.
yeah.
Like you got
totally.
off a flight.
Sure, yeah.
You were like, why not?
Yeah.
You were like, this too feels like a clerical error.
Yeah. Well, I was like 25, and it was in an opera house in Serbia, and stand-up is such a new medium there, like it's brand new, and they'd booked, it was some sort of eccentric millionaire had booked random comedians from all over the world. So we all show up, and then we're like, who's on first? And he's like, I don't know, you just figure it out yourself.
What?
And it was in an opera house, like it was
Wow.
filled with people who'd never seen stand-up, but even
That feels like
there,
an awkward space.
Oh, it was so awkward. But yeah, we were all like, where are we? And the audience was so confused about what it was. And then, but even there, even in that weird environment, like you fall into the same green room
Yeah.
chat, and the lingo is the same, and you feel comfortable, and
Yeah.
everybody's got their notebooks out. And
My biggest regret in comedy is like having started in LA, but it wasn't like intentional. What was it like doing comedy in London? Do you think it was, I mean, you've kind of implied, but like kind of better than starting in the States, or?
I started in Toronto, and I think that's a great city for I did sketch and improv and stuff where you can kind of avoid some of the cultishness, but I think Toronto's a great city for comedy, and then England too. My dad's British, so I grew up watching like British comedy, and
Yeah.
We were speaking about this a little bit before, but have you ever found yourself in a position where you were having to figure out how to pay a due to achieve a level of success that you didn't anticipate?
That's a great question. Also, while you were talking, I was thinking, isn't it quite culty to kind of have to work unpaid for a long
Absolutely.
time? Like that's for years.
Yeah.
and
it's like,
spending your money on.
yeah. What is it called when you say like it's all gonna be worth it in the end, or
Ends justify the means.
Ends justify the
justify? I'm
means.
like
Yeah,
the whole.
yeah.
And the ends are stardom. It's fascinating because there is all this financial exploitation and things that could be quantified as abuse, but you're doing it in service of stardom, which is like a tier higher than spiritual actualization in this culture.
Yeah.
It's the equivalent, isn't it? It's like
It is.
like
Yeah.
maybe I'll become a Greek god. Like I'll join this pantheon of like archetypes that people will,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah.
Insane. That's insane.
But were there dues that you found yourself having to pay, or people that you found yourself having to hobnob with, where you were like, I'm doing this, but I didn't anticipate it. No one told me about this.
I just spent so long in the trenches with, sucking up to horrible men, like
That's yeah.
laughing at their jokes and laughing at the horrible things they were
Yeah.
saying and doing, and yeah.
When did you have your like come to moment of like, I'm not gonna like pity laugh at like a man's joke anymore? Because I have it like every other week, and then I like am in an uncomfortable situation where I'm like the only like woman in the room, and then I'm like,
Yeah.
it just like
Yeah.
happens.
I'm sure I still do it, but that's because we are emotionally intelligent and empathetic, and you were like, oh, I should laugh, but someone's got to,
And
You
we're
ever-
communalists. We're
yeah.
communalists. And you're
Yeah.
right. The second you start laughing, you're like, oh, wait, it does feel good
Yeah.
to laugh.
Also, I
Yeah.
don't know if you felt this doing comedy in the UK, but in America, if I'm in a dark room with a bunch of men and they're angry, sometimes I literally just laugh for my safety.
Yeah. I did a club in LA the last time I was here, and it was the first time I'd done that, really. Every male comedian gave me notes after on my set. Like, they were giving me, like, tips on my punchlines. They were providing alternate punchlines. And I was just like, I know my set went really well. And, like, better, so it was just so interesting.
You could say better than theirs.
But they didn't do that with anyone else. But I don't know. I mean, the thing is, if I started scratching this like scab, I could really lean into like how frustrating it can be and all the negatives. And I always am like, I should balance that by being like, there's amazing.
Yeah.
We want to balance it.
We
want to
want
balance
to
it.
talk about like the community aspect of
Yes.
it. For me, it was like, that's how I made all of my friends in LA.
Oh, all my friends are comedians.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How do you like feel like your relationship is with those comedians? Do you think they're like family or like just like a comedy community?
I got kicked out of my house young, and so it was comedians that were the cause of that, but also the solution. I had some amazing like mentor figures, men and women who are still like, feel like parental figures or like weird uncle and aunt figures.
Yeah.
Who are amazing to me, and then like I guess you just have to be like, who is really happy for me when something good happens, and vice versa, and then those are the people.
Yeah.
Not
because-
it's tricky.
Yeah, because I feel like there's two levels of like comedian friendships. It's like the people who are like going to your show to get booked on your show.
Yeah.
And then there's the people who are like going to your show to like genuinely support you.
Totally. Being funny doesn't always equate to like kindness. And so I think for years I naturally gravitated to like the funniest people, and they're not always the kindest. And
Give
now
examples. No, I'm just
yeah. Name names. But now I'm like, I'm 35. Like I've culled, and now I have like there's so many great gems out there. And there's this whole like new wave of kind of alternative, often queer comedians.
Well, I feel like you were one of the like leaders in that.
Thank you.
Like,
but John Early and all those people and who are just so fucking funny, and that group is becoming so mainstream and popular is so cool.
Yeah, and the fact that like those people kind of like have other smaller comedians on their shows and like bring them up with them really creates like space for growth.
Yeah.
Because the truth is that comedy is not a space that has one unifying cult leader like Jonestown, you know? Like it is a space where you can kind of branch off and create your own denominations, because back in the day, the cult leaders, the people who had their cults of personality, their cult followings, the ability to influence who found success were like, you know, bookers and door guys and, you know, very successful, mostly white dude comedians. And now, especially with social media too, queer people classified as alternative, which like that's problematic too, that they can create their own spaces and their own, you know, good cults.
But it is crazy. Like would a culty thing be like not feeling able to like vocally criticize the leader?
Yes.
I'm always amazed by that. Like I know so many people who, you know, if I'm talking to them one-on-one, are so vocally critical about big comedians who are doing bad things, but they won't wade in, or they won't say it around other comics, or they won't say it online, and I get that, but like it is wild.
I feel like I've started to feel that a little bit more, just because I'm still like not really anyone. I'm not like an important person. Like I don't think
yes,
like,
you are.
To my opinion, but like when I was just like doing open mic comedy, I was like, fuck this, fuck that. You know, I was like, I had like such hard opinions, and now like I'm a little scared.
I feel the same. What's frustrating is I'm like I was so upset when Louis C.K. won the Grammy recently, and then I like tweeted. I just got upset, and I ended up doing like a Twitter thread, and then I panicked and I deleted the thread because I was like, people were piling on, and I was like, fuck, and then why did I delete it? And then I'm like, I can't repost it.
Then you just post a screenshot of your thread.
Yes, but then I'm like, why is no one else saying anything?
Right.
Like this is our community and our industry.
No, I remember when like Louis C.K. The first night he went back to the Improv after he was kind of like MIA for a little while, and like it was this thing of like some comics wanted to go see him, but they didn't want to say they wanted to go see him. But then I feel like after he went back a couple times, then like the narrative just moved to being like, okay, like we're not going to talk about him.
The fear about speaking truth to power and subverting those power structures is definitely, I think, one of the biggest cult red flags in comedy as an outsider, the way that I see it. I just can't off the top of my head think of another art form that regards itself as like full of misfits and full of people who like, I don't have to abide by the rules of what you're supposed to say. I say whatever I want. That I think is an attitude of comedians, but at the same time, you have to abide by that hierarchy.
Yes. You're so right. Speaking truth to power. And comedy's supposed to be a subversive.
That's right.
It's supposed to do just that. But then we're trapped in this cage of the power structure within the...
But at the same time, like, what would you say on a positive note, like that comedy brings... Sorry. Gotta bring it back there before we start to wrap up.
Oh my God, yeah. Like, I'm saying all of this with the caveat that, like, I am at my happiest in comedy clubs. I feel the most empowered and in control on stage. Like, I've had... my best friends are comedians. My best friends are straight male comedians. Like, that's the big caveat. Like,
and they're just, because if you look beneath, it's all just like insecurity. They're just like these people who just want like to be heard and like accepted.
And patriarchy allows them to be.
Yes. And to me, as looking at those people, I'm just like, it's so embarrassing. But I think also there's different, people do comedy for different reasons. And I think I love it when people do it either because they have something to say, or because they just love to genuinely make people laugh, and then you can tell when it's coming from more of a like, chip on their shoulder, like a hole to fill. But
and there is this whole relationship between comedy and depression, suicide, and that's another reason probably why when I'm in stand-up comedy spaces, I feel almost a sense of codependence with the person on the stage. Like my laughter is connected to like
Amanda thinks that if she doesn't laugh, the comedian's gonna be like, I'm gonna kill myself.
No, not true, not genuinely, but there is that in the back of my mind. And yet, when I have a moment when like someone says something that fucking, to use the language of violence, kills, crushes, whatever.
Yes.
I feel genuinely transported. It's like you've taken me away from my despair for a moment, and like that's what a cult is supposed to do. That's what spirituality is, right?
That's true. Those moments of like euphoria and reprieve from the like unmitigated pain of living, and also like the when you say something that everyone knows is true but has just never thought of before, and it's so unifying. I mean, this is why people love memes, because it's like yes, we all feel that way.
So then the people who get to say the unifying thing should not just be these dudes, these white dudes who've said like this is what comedy is universally, but
that's also the reason like I hate it is the reason I love it, is that like it's so subjective.
That's the problem, is when people say no, this is
objectively
funny. Yeah, people who say like this is objectively funny, like you can't say that.
You know, someone that I don't find funny, if they're finding their audience and they're saying something that's unifying a certain group of people, I guess that's good. It's just bad when that results.
Hurts others.
Yeah.
Now we're going to take a quick break to tell you about today's sponsors.
Did you know that only 9% of plastic actually gets recycled, which is such a sad fact, no matter how much we put in our recycling bin? At Grove Collaborative, they believe it's time to ditch single-use plastic for good.
Grove carries hundreds of products aimed at replacing single-use plastics across your home and personal care routine, and by 2025, Grove will be 100% plastic-free.
That's amazing. Like Grove Co.'s concentrated cleaners and refillable glass bottles, they're friendlier to the planet and twice as effective as the leading natural brands.
Switch to sustainable products for every room in your home, from laundry care to hand soaps and more. Grove Co. has you covered with safe formulas and refillable packaging that never compromise on performance. Personally, I am obsessed with all of their paper towel alternatives. They have something called their unpaper towels, which are just better for the environment, and I feel like a superior human when I use them.
Yeah, and when you get it delivered to your house, you can choose the schedule that you want it to come on, which is so nice. You don't have to go to the store. It gets delivered to your home, and it's exactly the products that you need to keep your home clean.
Exactly when you need them. Join over 2 million households already shopping sustainably at Grove.
Go to grove.com/cult today to get a free gift set worth up to $50 with your first order. Plus, shipping is fast and free. That's grove.com/cult.
Listeners of the show know that we love apps that help soothe our anxiety and help us sleep.
Yes, we need sleep. We're so busy running around making this podcast, doing our jobs. And sometimes when you get home, it's hard to wind down, and trying something new can be super intimidating, like meditation. But I really genuinely love the Calm app because it has a lot of different kinds of meditation. It has one to soothe your anxieties. It has different meditations to fall asleep, some to just lie around and relax.
Yeah, meditation can feel a little bit exclusive, a little bit fancy, but Calm makes it super accessible, and that's why we're partnering with them, the #1 mental wellness app, to give you the tools that improve the way you feel. Reduce stress and anxiety through their guided meditations, improve focus with curated music tracks, and rest and recharge with Calm's imaginative sleep stories for children and adults. There's even new daily movement sessions designed to relax your body and uplift your mind.
Whether it's just to take a bath or you're going on an evening stroll, they really have something for everything, and they add new meditations every day, so you can always switch it up. That's something I love about them.
If you go to calm.com/cult, you'll get a special offer of 40% off a Calm premium subscription, and new content is added every week.
Over 100 million people around the world use Calm to take care of their minds, but take it from us, we love it.
We love it. For listeners of the show, Calm is offering an exclusive offer of 40% off a Calm premium subscription at calm.com/cult.
Go to calm.com/cult for 40% off unlimited access to Calm's entire library.
That's calm.com/cult.
So if you don't know what Athletic Greens is, it's a daily drink that supports your gut health, immunity, energy, recovery, focus, aging, and more. And it's actually pretty good.
Yeah, I started taking AG1 because, listen, I have digestive problems. Is that an overshare for the podcast? I'm just trying to eat healthier as I get older. I wanted a supplement that actually tastes great. And Athletic Greens is insanely healthy, but it doesn't taste super healthy. It tastes kind of mild and tropical, and I look forward to drinking it.
Yeah, and it's so easy to add to your routine. I know I have done it, and I feel better already. So what is in this product? With 1 scoop of AG1, you're absorbing 75 high-quality vitamins, minerals, whole foods, sourced superfoods, probiotics, and adaptogens. If you're busy running around or, exercising, this is something that will help you start your day right. It's a special blend of ingredients that supports your health, nervous system, immune system. And I think for me, it's just something that I can add to my daily routine to stay healthy and make sure that I'm getting the vitamins and minerals that I want.
Totally. I can safely say it's the only supplement that I've actually been able to stick with. Right now, it's time to reclaim your health and arm your immune system with convenient daily nutrition. It's just 1 scoop in a cup of water every day. That's it. No need for a million different pills and supplements to look out for your health.
To make it easy, Athletic Greens is going to give you a free 1-year supply of immune-supporting vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase.
All you have to do is visit athleticgreens.com/cult.
Again, that's athleticgreens.com/cult to take ownership over your health and pick up the ultimate daily nutritional insurance.
We've been dancing around the lingo a bit.
Yes, talk to me.
And I would love to play a little game. I've made a little list of in-group comedy terms, some of which I understand and some of which I don't. Regardless, I'd love to hear you attempt to define them as insiders, because I think the language is what contributes to the culture of comedy, and the culture is what contributes to the culture.
And if you have any we missed, then...
Okay, I'll think of some weird British ones. Maybe.
Please do.
Yeah.
What is an open micer?
Just someone who's just starting out and only doing the open mic circuit.
Got it.
Yeah. Usually doing sort of 1 of 4 jokes.
Yeah.
That make the rounds.
Yeah, or they memorize every word they're going to say.
Yeah, memorize it like a script, and even the fake improvised parts.
Yeah.
And usually they go, I got 2 roommates. They're called Mom and Dad.
And they also, I feel like, tell a story. They end their set with and that's the story of how I da-da-da-da.
Yeah. And they go, I know what you're thinking. I look like a cross between Mickey Rooney and a pug or whatever. Mickey Rooney. I haven't said Mickey Rooney maybe ever in my life.
Okay. I think we all know what this is, but I'd love to hear you define it. What is bombing?
It's one of the most aggressive stand-up terms. It's when you do have a horrible set.
Yeah, crickets, silence. But as an audience member, I have always loved watching someone bomb. And that's my mom will never set foot in a comedy club because it's her nightmare is watching someone bomb. But there's something so heroic about someone going, I really thought this was going to be amazing, and it's not, and pushing through it, and I
have immense respect when they say things like, great, that's wonderful feedback, I'm going to work on that, other than fuck you all for not laughing.
Oh yeah, there's
I
nothing worse than when a comedian blames the room.
Oh yeah, they go, this is funny.
Yeah.
It's we guarantee you if it were, we'd laugh. We're here to laugh.
Yeah, I think
we want to laugh.
Exactly.
We paid money to laugh.
A lot of comedians feel when they're bombing, and I've felt this before, but I'm obviously you fight against it, is that the audience is out to get you.
Yeah.
It's they want to be there.
I will say that I'm just having this flashback of in my teens, just being such a little shit, and I went through this phase of smoking on stage, Bill.
No way.
I thought I was really cool.
That is cool.
This is how long ago it was. You could still smoke inside, and so I went on stage, and it was a New Year's Eve show where people had paid a lot of money for their tickets, and I shouldn't have been on this bill, and I went out smoking and just did sort of anti-comedy, just was really and people booed, and I went backstage to all the other comics and was these assholes, or they don't know what's fun, and everyone was no, that was you, that was fully
oh
you.
No,
with youth it's passable.
Yeah.
Was that a turning point for you at all, or?
I'm sure it should have been. I'm sure there were a few more bad years.
All right, I feel this term transgresses or transverses fields, but what is a noob?
Oh, isn't that come from gaming? Isn't that just a newbie?
Yeah, newbie.
Okay.
Yeah.
Someone who's
what's a heckler?
Like someone who shouts out during your set.
Boo! You suck!
I asked on my Instagram, like, what's the cultiest thing about stand-up comedy? And a comedian replied, I think it's crazy that when anyone else besides the comedian speaks, they're identified as a heckler.
Yeah.
I'm like, if you think about it that way, that's kind of nuts.
We didn't even talk about this, or at least we didn't talk about it at length, the celebration of the self.
Yes.
Like, this is not a collaboration.
Yeah.
No, this is a navel-gazing me.
But I relate to it so much because, like, as an author, you too are, like, celebrating
Yeah,
the self.
I relate to it because I'm a Pisces sun and moon, but a Leo rising.
Okay.
So it's like,
welcome back to LA.
Yeah.
Okay, what are bucket names?
Oh, I don't know. Is that like, if there's too many comics, they put their names in a bucket?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I very recently, I'm like I still go to open mics. So it's like when you like put your name in a bucket and like you get pulled out. But it's like if you go to any mic in LA, it's like definitely a rigged mic. Like,
Oh, really? They know who they want.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so depressing.
Yeah, which is like so annoying because it's like before you even climb or get to the tier of like club comedy, you have to work your way through like open mic comedy.
Yes. Doesn't it feel like now there's more ways to, like, you could start running your own show?
That's what
and,
I
like,
was gonna
there's
say.
ways to get around it.
Yeah,
And circumvent it.
for me, it was like I started running my own show like 6 months into doing stand-up
the best
because
way.
I was in LA.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't want to suck up to these people.
No.
And I'll just produce my own show. And it's like
Get
it's
way more stage time.
more stage time.
Meet
and
people.
Yeah, it's stressful, but I think it's totally worth it. And well, now in hindsight, the most embarrassing part was that like I was producing a show, booking like great comics, and I was like 6 months into comedy.
That's
So
great.
it was like
No, it's
bombing
amazing.
up top.
Yeah.
No, it's killer. And this was the genesis of the podcast too. It's like whatever. There are gatekeepers, and we're gonna do our own fucking thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Okay, what's a bringer?
Oh, is that where you have to bring audience?
Yeah.
You have to bring a few members of the audience?
Yeah, so that's a very, I don't know if it's just an LA thing, but
Sounds
it's
like a pyramid scheme.
It is literally a multi-level marketing scheme where you are booked on a show, but if you don't bring enough people, then they won't let you on the show.
No way.
And because you run out of friends to ask for favors, you ask other comics.
Oh my
you
God.
know? And so then it's like you're bringing people into the scheme, and then they want to do it, and
Oh
then
my
it just kind of
God.
feeds on itself.
And you're like, I started doing this because I had no friends. And now I have to find.
I have to like pay.
Yeah.
The chicken or the egg man?
Yeah.
Tag setup punchline.
A setup would be, I guess, the beginning of a joke, like setting up the premise, and then there's the punchline, and then my favorite bit is the tag, like a throwaway thing that you say at the end.
Tags are like the ones that you come up with like in the car, and you're like, oh my God.
Yeah.
This is
or
gonna be
on stage.
Yeah.
It just comes out from the adrenaline, and you think that's a really great moment.
Yeah.
Oh, that's beautiful. Okay, I know this one. What's riffing?
Every episode, I'm like, Amanda, we need to riff.
I'm just like, stick to the outline.
I love that. We need to riff. Yeah, like improvising, right? Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just what we're doing right now.
No,
Yeah.
we're at the beginning of a joke. It's like an author and a comedian walk into a podcast studio.
Yeah.
What is the light?
Oh, the light. Well, that sounds really like
Culty.
go towards the light. Like
Yeah.
it's to tell you that you got to get off stage, or you could have it to warn you have a few minutes left.
Yeah.
Oh man,
Did you not know that?
No.
Oh, wow. That's fun.
Nothing more annoying too than like. Again, I won't name names, but like you're on a bill and then some successful comedian shows up and is just like, can I do a set? They weren't meant to do a set that night, and of course everyone's excited. You're excited. You're like, yeah, great. And they're like, I'll just go on and I'm working on a new 20, and then they do an hour.
Literally.
And all these young comics just can't do their set. And
They run the light by like 20 minutes,
Yeah.
30 minutes, and like there's nothing you can do about it.
no.
Okay, two more. What is a chuckle fucker?
Oh.
Have you heard that term?
No, what is that? Like a comedy groupie?
Yeah. It's
I
like
love
someone
that.
who's like attracted to like comedians and like wants to fuck them after their set.
Do you date comedians?
I've hooked up with comedians.
Okay, yeah, same. Maybe I'm a chuckle fucker.
Yeah, no, I honestly,
heard it
embarrassingly
here.
enough, started doing comedy because I was like in love with like 10 comedians.
Yeah.
You know? That's why you start.
Of course.
You like fall in love with them on stage, and then you're like, I need to be a part of
Yes.
this.
Yeah.
That's so human, though. Like the motivation to want to pursue a career because of something as profound as love.
Yes, that is nice.
I like the way you phrase it.
Yeah.
Okay.
A local author.
I added this at the end because I just love this. It's something that I think comedians take for granted, but I think of it as such an in-group term. How would you define material?
Huh.
I didn't even think of it as a term until we were like on our way over, and Amanda like pulled out her pen and was like, because I don't know, we like mentioned the word material, and I was like, I wouldn't even think that was.
Yeah, me neither. But I guess it only applies to that to comedy, really, because otherwise, because you wouldn't say like content or
Yeah.
yeah.
I guess like the technical term should be jokes.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. But then you're like, I don't really do jokes. I tell stories, and
There's
So,
like
yeah,
this sense
your
of
material.
reverence and importance and purpose in the term material. Like this is the fabric
Yeah.
with which
Yeah.
our culture is
Yeah.
constructed.
But there is something so satisfying about like your notebook. You're filling up.
It's in
your,
my backpack right now.
Oh, it's so good. Yeah.
We were recording another episode, and with the minimalists.
You recorded other episodes?
Yeah,
I just
really
felt really
sorry.
jealous. Yeah.
You can come to all of them.
Literally, you can come to all.
Okay.
Yeah. We were recording with like the minimalists, and they were talking. I don't know. They actually dressed just like you, all black.
Oh, really?
But
Wait,
sandals.
so they are a real thing?
Yeah.
Wow.
They're like the
minimalists.
minimalists.
The minimalist.
And they were talking about how like they threw away like all their notebooks, and I was like, no. I was like, your material. And
Yeah.
they were like, that's not.
Oh.
We have this game that we play on our show called Culty Quotes, where we read a list of quotes, and some of them are by cult-followed comedians, and some of them are by notorious cult leaders from history, and
Yeah.
you have to identify
Great.
which is which.
Okay, amazing.
Yeah.
Okay. Who said this culty quote? A cult-followed comedian or notorious cult leader from history. The first quote is, "Never underestimate the power of stupid people in large groups."
Oh, wow. I think that's a comedian. I think that's... Is it?
It was George Carlin.
I was going to say George Carlin.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I think that was...
number one comedy fan comedian.
Yeah.
You know them back to
That
front.
sounded like George Carlin.
Okay. Number 2 culty quote. Is this a cult-followed comedian or a notorious cult leader? Look down at me and you see a fool. Look up at me and you see a god. Look straight at me and you see yourself.
I mean, I hope that's not a comedian. That would be...
Yeah.
Yeah, is it a
It's
cult
not.
leader? Okay, yeah,
It's Charles Manson.
Yeah. Okay. Wow, yeah.
You would hope, and yet, if the Bible is true, then I'm Christ.
Ooh. Who would have said that? If the Bible is true, then I'm... What does it even mean? Is it Chris D'Elia?
No, that's thankfully David. David Koresh, the Branch Davidians, aka Waco.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, sorry, I sort of
sound
faked
like
you out.
Okay, you did fake me out. yeah.
Sorry.
I was just thinking he looks kind of like Christ.
Fair enough.
Okay. The IRS, they're like the mafia. They can take anything they want.
Comedian?
Yeah.
I mean, it sounds like a bit.
I know.
but-
I also read it like a comedian.
Yeah, you delivered it really well. The IRS, they're like the mafia. They can take anything they want. Who is that?
Do you want to guess?
Yeah, I'm gonna say Richard Pryor.
No.
Damn.
But I was going to say close, but no. Jerry Seinfeld.
Oh, okay.
Jerry Seinfeld. It was
Yeah.
funny that you were mentioning the comedian's lilt.
Yes.
Because there's also a poet's lilt.
Is there? Well, spoken word. Yeah.
The IRS. They're like the mafia. They can take anything they want.
That was amazing spoken word.
Yeah.
Next culty quote. Is this a cult leader or a comedian? I say this with as much humility as I am capable, which isn't very much. But when I sit down and start to talk, people start gathering.
That's a cult leader.
Yeah.
I think that's Jim Jones or something.
Comedians don't know the word humility.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's too many.
That was Chuck Dederich, the leader of Synanon, the cult where my dad spent his teenage years.
I really believe in the philosophy that you create your own universe. I'm just trying to create a good one for myself.
Oh. I feel like I've heard Sarah Silverman say that on her podcast, something similar.
I feel like she would, like, iconic, but
Yeah.
it was Jim Carrey.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Oh, wow, cool. Yeah. I like it, though. I like that sentiment.
Yeah.
Next quote. When someone comes along and expresses him or herself as freely as they think, People flock to it, they enjoy it.
People flock to it. They enjoy it. Yeah, I'm gonna go comedian.
Yeah.
Am I right?
This one
Do
rides
you want
the
to guess
line.
which one?
Yeah.
Very controversial.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I mean, truly, I would say this person is a cult leader.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Is it Chappelle?
No.
Because that's a cult-like thing.
Yeah. It's Joe Rogan.
Well, he's sort of crossing over, isn't he?
Yeah.
Indeed.
He's
on
crossing.
his way.
He's sort of dipping his toe into the arena of the unwell.
Yeah. Very much.
Put that on a quote, Graham.
Yeah.
Okay, final quote. Everything comes out of smoke and mist and nothingness, a mystical happening.
That's nice. I mean, I think cult leader.
It's Joan Rivers.
Oh, no way!
That's a quote from her book, Enter Talking.
No way!
We got you in the end.
Oh,
we
you
did?
got me.
Yeah.
Joan got me. I'm so glad it was her that got me. Have you seen the documentary about her?
No.
Oh my
What's it on?
god, it's like mind blowing. I don't know. I saw it in cinemas years ago. Would you say
Cinemas?
Sorry. Oh no. What would you
No,
say?
I love it.
In
Let's
movie-
go to the cinemas after this.
in movie
Go to the
theaters. What would you
Yeah,
say?
in theaters.
I saw it in theaters. Yeah.
Yeah.
But she just had like filing cabinets of jokes from decades, and she's in
Yeah.
her 80s doing like a new hour of material every month. and
That's
stuff.
like one thing that I don't think I'm organized enough to do is like have a physical, like my notebooks
Yeah.
organized physically.
Same.
I have like obviously like my notes in my phone.
Yeah.
Very, very messy. And then I have like a million notebooks, but I feel like I've lost half of them. Have you ever lost a notebook and been like, oh fuck?
Yeah.
Because it like the shit is in there is like
Yeah, but then sometimes that's so freeing because then you remember it, but you just remember the.
They
good
are a
part.
minimalist.
Yeah. I am a
okay.
minimalist. Yeah, what
We
can
need
I
to
say?
connect you with a minimalist.
Yeah.
The last question that we always ask at the end of every podcast, and we're going to include you in this one,
Yeah.
is the cult of stand-up comedy. Is it a live your life
A watch your back
or a get the fuck out?
level cult.
So live your life is like it's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ish.
It's
Yes.
like live your life, do what you're doing.
Oh,
You're
okay.
no tr-
Sometimes I make this analogy. A live your life is like caffeine.
Yeah.
Caffeine,
Right.
yeah, debatable, but like it's kind of fine for everyone. Watch your
think
back.
It's more corrosive than caffeine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then a
Yeah.
watch your back would be like alcohol. Tragic for some people, fine
Yeah.
for others. Get the fuck out. Meth, heroin.
Yeah.
Bad for everyone.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm saying watch your back because I think also the rewards of alcohol, if you can do it in moderation and carefully, are high. It can be great. So I'm gonna go watch your back.
Yeah.
I agree.
And
I
I
would
tried
agree.
to twist it positively there.
Yeah.
I'm even.
You're like, I
this
love
is-
getting tipsy at brunch.
But we can't get scared of the cult because even this, I'm like, what if another comedian listens to this and they think I'm being down on comedy? But whatever.
You're not. It's
I'm
watch
not.
your
I love
back.
comedy.
What are some other examples that we've had are watch your back?
Theater kids.
Theater kids are watch your
Oh.
back.
Theater kids are get the fuck out. Yeah.
This is
Yeah.
why we bring our own bias to it. That's hilarious.
Yeah.
But like, our crusade is not to encourage people to be so cynical that you completely disaffiliate from
Yeah.
everything in your life that could be considered cultish. We are profoundly communal and
Yes.
seek belonging and ritual
Yeah.
by
Yes.
nature. We just need to do it in a way that is healthy if we can help it.
Yes, and aware and yeah.
Yeah, and we always talk about how like especially today when like people are so lost and so exhausted, it's like they're looking for someone to tell them what to do. We just want to like sit back and be like, all right, tell me what to like eat, drink,
Yes.
live, exist.
The Fleabag quote, Like,
Yeah.
I want someone to tell me who to love and how to love them, what to
Yes.
believe,
Yeah, and
Oh,
it's like
God, yeah.
do that, but like make sure you're watching your back.
Yeah, someone the other day, or maybe it was Miley Cyrus or something. I don't know. Not that. I saw someone interviewed and they were like, bone broth is the thing. You could just one day a week, you drink a ton of bone
And
broth.
it'll fix your life.
I was like, thank God, finally,
Yeah.
the answer. And then now I am drinking a shitload of bone broth, and it was,
I do that every other week with something new. Currently,
Yeah.
I'm on mud water. I don't know.
what is mud water?
It's like this water that has like mushrooms in it,
Oh, okay.
and I drink it instead of coffee now. But I don't know. It's chill for now. I don't want to like ex-nay them in case they want to like
Sponsor.
pay us.
yeah.
It
love
is true. 1 week it's celery juice. But the funny thing about these different sort of like kind of vague, innocuous materials is that you can construct a cult around anything
Yeah.
if the right cult leaders are in place,
Yeah. You have all the knowledge and you could so easily manipulate.
We're
Oh, yes.
trying.
Well, we like to be transparent about
of like, we are trying to start a cult.
Yeah. Before we end the show, I want to ask you one more question.
Yes.
Would you consider yourself a cult leader?
No. Come on.
No.
Come on. No. But in Lord of the Rings, like when Frodo's carrying the ring and he gets like the flicker of power hunger and stuff, I'm sure like even when you said that, I was like, of course not. And like
You're like, the like kombucha meme?
yeah, I was like, I wouldn't mind. I'd use it for good, right? Yeah.
Well, the second you start to defend why you're not a cult leader, you seem like one.
Exactly. Yeah.
So just lean in.
Yeah.
Lean in. That's our show.
Thanks for listening.
We'll be back with a new cult next week.
But in the meantime,
Stay culty.
But not too culty.
Sounds Like a Cult is created, hosted, and produced by Amanda Montel and Isa Medina. Kate Elizabeth is our editor.
our podcast studio is All Things Comedy, and our theme music is by Casey Kolb. Thank you to our intern/production assistant, Noemi Griffin. Subscribe to Sounds Like a Cult wherever you get your podcasts, so you never miss an episode.
And if you like our show, feel free to give us a rating and review on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, and check us out on Patreon at patreon.com/soundslikeacult.